How much money did I make on one of my largest bulk PSA mail days?
That's a clown question, bro.
It's what the people want to know! So what are we going to do?
We'll do it live!
That's right, guys. This is Tyler back again with another video from SHORTSLABS, and I get this question all the time. How much money did you make? That seems to be what a lot of people gravitate towards and are interested in, and I've done that in previous videos. You guys have seen how much money did I make on a recent express order, how much did I make on one of my last 103 card bulk mail days. Well, here we are. I uploaded a video in November of 2021 showcasing a bulk order that took almost a year to get back from PSA, and in that video I said that I was going to get around $40,000 in resale value. Well, let's see, did I actually hit that mark? Let's dig into the details. So here we go. Flipping over to our spreadsheet. Again, for a lot of those folks out there who have questions, I've had requests to break down my spreadsheets and also talk about how I do my taxes. Yes, I am an incorporated LLC. I have this treated as a business, as this has become a business for a lot of folks. So I will eventually do a video on taxes. I recommend everyone consult the tax attorney. But for my purchases, I log everything into an Excel spreadsheet. For all of my PSA orders, I have essentially the cards, the serial numbers, the grades, how much I paid for the card, how much I sold the card for after fees, because again, I get an itemized list from my consignor after they subtract out fees. This is basically what I'm getting for that card, which is a hammer price that I get. And then of course the grading fees at the very bottom. Now, I've sold every card in this order. We went through this order. It's a 366 card bulk order. I've done several 300 plus card orders or 200 plus card bulk orders previously. This is the largest by volume order that I've done. I've done orders that have sold for a lot more money than this order, but this is telling in terms of, can you still make a profit on PSA orders a year after you get those cards back? This was really a surrogate marker of the market about 2 months ago, which is whenever I liquidated the majority of these cards. So we're going to go straight into the nitty gritty. Won't go into every single card, but we will at least talk about the sales just in general. So we start way up here at the top. We can see our Louis Roberts. Didn't make a lot of money on those, right? We saw the value of Lubob crash. I was not expecting to sit on Lubob for a year. I never anticipated that was going to happen. So, of course, we lost a little bit of money. Now, I did make money on the freebie. That was a throw-in for one of my previous cards. Patty Cakes, guys, Patty Cakes is a money maker. He is just making bread left and right. He has just been amazing for me. So you can see not even rookie parallels. We're looking at some Phoenix second-year parallels. All of those came out in the green. After grading fees, I will remind you, I paid $15 per card to get these cards graded. So this is a really a good indicator that if you tacked on fees of say $25 per card, that changes the entire landscape of this order, and we can actually plug that in at the end to see if I had to pay $25 per card with these same results and with the same resale value, would I still be profitable? So we'll do that at the end. If we look at some of these low tier Patrick Mahomes rookie cards, which I've told a lot of people to buy, there's comments in previous videos where they're like, you were buying them, so I decided to buy them, I graded them, and I made money. I love hearing that. So keep doing that if you're buying some of the things that I'm buying. Obviously, I didn't do what I wanted to do, because whenever I bought these cards, the PSA 10s were 100 to 150 a piece. So getting $50 for Gem Mint Patty Cakes, even though they're Sage rookies, it's not really what I wanted. The market's obviously a lot softer, and whenever I sold this, Patrick Mahomes' market was actually pretty soft. So this was whenever people doubted him, I think. This might have been right before the playoff run or towards the end of the season. Second year contenders, these did really, really well. So much so that I've actually been looking at buying a couple more of these. I think there's 4 of them that ended recently with no bids at like $3 a pop. So looking at Jason Tatum, Tatum started the first half of the year way, way, way down. I want to say I've seen one of these crystals sell for $200 or $300. I listed these off as a pair, and together they pulled 62. Really disappointing in Jason Tatum sales, but this is just the avalanche of ultra modern that has really impacted modern basketball, and I'm really feeling it in this order with Jason Tatum. We look at our Trae Youngs. Trae Youngs did pretty well. There was a bronze parallel here that did really well, that basically carried all of the cards. You know, the 9s were kind of a wash, and the PSA 10s of the Chronicles cards actually did fairly well considering the buy-in for those cards. If we look at Zion, again, Zion was not playing at this time. He has still not played, but I don't think the market for Zion was as low as it is today for these types of cards. So me getting out of them is actually a good thing. The 9s on some of these cards is not going to do well. Whenever I got this Court Kings, I mean, PSA 10s of the Court Kings were $250, $300. So I was buying a lot of those. So anytime I don't get a 10 on one of those, probably not going to do well. But I've made plenty on Zion, you know, base cards, to the point where I'm okay not, you know, ever having to, you know, make any more, but also, you know, if I lose money, I'm still way ahead on Zion. Revolution Ja. Again, Ja did not take off at this time, and I have a lot of Ja's in this order, so this 9 probably didn't do well. Chrome Update Juan Soto. Surprised I made money on that. I'm surprised the Juan Soto Chrome Update market has held as strong as it has, giving the rising pop. Juan Soto Blue. This is a card I'm not surprised with the sale, even though it's a 9, because people want something that's rare. And that blue parallel from 1983 Topps Baseball, you know, the update set, the insert, is a rare card, actually, you know, by today's standards. If we look, skip the Legends in the Making. So this is a throw-in, and actually got a Gem Mint grade on this card. Again, it's an insert from Juan Soto's rookie year, got $46.55. So again, freebie that made me a little bit of money. Again, I can have in and out for maybe 2 mils.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy.
2 mils. I usually get 3 2x2s protein style, so it's about $18, which that's a lot of food. It's definitely getting me fat. Good one, Joe Burrow. This is a little bit before the Smokin' Joe explosion. So I held on to some of these cards, and then I liquidated some right before the Super Bowl for Smokin' Joe, as well as a couple of other guys. So I didn't sell everything at once to Probstein. So I sold some things right before the Super Bowl. So we have some. That's why I'm really putting out this video a little bit later on, is because we still have some cards that I haven't sold. So I'm doing these videos later because you know, I want to make sure that I'm getting a finalized view of how well I really did on this order. So I'm not really putting out numbers that aren't true. So these Smokin' Joes I did pretty good on, but I could have done better for these specifically if it was closer to the Super Bowl. Bol PSA 10. This is an autographed PSA 10. I've lost about $100. Oh my gosh, Bol. Play the man, so we can actually get some money. By the way, I had no belief that he was going to really make it necessarily, but I also had, because this is supposed to be a quick flip. Again, I bought these during the bubble, and of course, this is the poster boy for somebody sending in a bunch of junk. But you don't anticipate that PSA is going to hold my cards for a year either. So knowing that, yeah, it kind of makes sense that I'm not going to make any money on somebody who I don't have a lot of faith in, right? Same thing with Lou Bob. Like, that's why I didn't buy a ton of his top Series 1 base cards. I would have thought Prism Bols would have been a better bet than Series 1 Tops. None of them are good bets. None of them are. This is one of those hot potato things. You just want to ditch it, you know, get it graded and get rid of it. So that's kind of how a lot of these cards are, to be honest. Prism, red, white, and blue. Oh my gosh, man. I could have just gave them away. It's so terrible. I got a PSA 10 on the Ruby Wave and actually made money. I made money on a Bol card, but it was offset by all the other losses. You know, all things considered, I don't think that I did terrible. I mean, by the time you pay a $15 grading fee and you're losing about $11, $10, $11 per card, it's a loss of $26 per card on the 10s. Even worse on the 9s. So, he didn't really do well for me. Lou Bob, again, got hurt, and it's probably a blessing that he got hurt because I'm not a believer in him as a hitter. Again, I wanted these sold quick. Probably should have elected for a quicker service just to get rid of them. And yeah, if he played, I actually think these would have been lower because I think he's going to strike out and not hit for average. So there's that. But back to Patrick Mahomes. Even though the world is hating on patty cakes, telling you, he just continues to be a moneymaker. It's just beautiful. More Phoenix parallels from his second year, including this red, the color burst, the green, which I think is numbered to 25, the purple, I forget, it's like what, 149, 175, I don't know what it is. But again, look at these sell values relative to the purchase price. Far offsetting Bobo. So those 4 cards offset Bobo right there. QB Vision Orange, made money on. Then we get to the Big Daddies, which I have not sold and I'm probably not going to sell. These are inserts that I really like. They're super short print. They do not pop up. And when I say super short print, I don't mean that they're just case hits. There were a lot of case hits in this set, but they were divided up. Like, you didn't get one of every single case hit. Like, this is one out of every 3, 4, 5 cases to get one card in the set. So these did not pop up much at all, and this is one of the few Patrick Mahomes gem mints and one of the few graded Tom Brady's that came back in 9. So if we go to the Heroes Blue Extra Points, this was one of those artificially inflated cards, and I get a lot of crap from SGC people when they look at this spreadsheet and they're like, bro, why are you paying so much money for all these cards? You're so stupid. What those kids are doing is they're looking at these prices and they're looking at prices that just happened this past week. Go look at raw card prices for this last week and tell me like you can't compare last week's prices to what they were literally a year ago whenever I was buying them. But the funny thing is I bought these at inflated prices a year ago, and as a PSA 10 1 year later, I still made money. With SGC, I would have lost my ass. Hell yeah! Just like I've shown you in the videos that I've shown previously. So please share this video with all of your SGC flipper boys. And let them hear this message. Because this is something that they cannot get through their head. They're too focused on, you overspent on your cards. Blah, blah, blah. You don't know how to flip. Okay? All right, we'll see the final number at the end of this video. See if I know how to make money on cards. The people who just entered the hobby within the past 6 months at the tail end of one of the biggest bubbles in sports card history. Okay. All right. Let me see their spreadsheets. They don't have them. All right, enough of that. So, again, patty cakes doing very, very well for me. Elite Series. Made double my money. Couldn't do that with SGC, by the way. Going to my Leaf cheap cards. Again, I would have liked to have gotten these back a little bit quicker and got them out of my hands. A lot of people ended up grading these cards, and I didn't make as much money as I would have liked. Same thing with more Sages. I didn't have these bundled up. They were just all somewhat scattered a little bit. MVP Contenders Orange did pretty well on. Jason Tatum Select Rookie 9 I lost money on. Basically, if it's Ultra Modern Basketball and it comes back a 9, no go. Some of the trays were a wash, but for the most part, this Tatum lost money. Optic Hollow Luka. This is crazy. There were literal Luka Doncic gem mint cards that lost me money. I paid $83 for this. Again, the flipper boys are like, why'd you pay $83? There's one that sold last week for like $2. Those comments from those kids that have 2 brain cells. Luka Doncic. 2018, again, this is a rookie, rookie PSA 9s. Lost to over $100 a pop on those. Those almost have to gem because, again, that market tanked in a year. Donruss rookie that came back at PSA 10. I did make some money on that, so it helped offset a little bit. Threads in Motion, Luka Doncic Dazzle, made money. That was a 9 that actually made money on. The Chronicles, even this Chronicles 10 right here, so 67 plus 15 is $82. I made $7. That won't give me an in and out value mill, so that's a no-go. Court King, this is another Court Kings. Again, I paid $100 for that. That one came back at 9, lost money. Zion Williamson Choice. These cards, I've graded a couple of these, and they have not come back in favorable grades, and of course, I lost quite a bit. This is an underrated card, though, by the way. If you can get it in PSA 10 grade, they're very tough. They're off-centered, usually always. This Kevin Durant was a very disappointing card, mainly because I was anticipating a sell value higher than 410. I made money, clearly. But given Prism is going crazy, especially with rare parallels, I would have expected more, but Kevin Durant hype has been down because he has really kind of been hurt for, I don't know if he was hurt during this period or not, but the Nets are just a dumpster fire this year. I mean, they're basically collecting a team full of mental illness.
Get some help.
Let's just leave it at that. Trae Young Prism, the color Prism came back at 9, lost a little bit of money, but the 10s, here we go. All right, Ultra Modern Basketball 10s. Trae Young, Select, made money. John Morant was ice cold at this time. Oh my God. Why did I not have these John Morants, or at least sell them? PSA, you should have held on my cards maybe a little bit longer. Let me take advantage of the jaw, as well as really Patrick Mahomes rising in the offseason, as well as Luka Doncic rising. So I probably could have timed this maybe a little bit better, but again, I like to flip things quick. John Morant lost money on a PSA 10. LaKang James made a little bit of money on that Court Kings. I've graded a couple of these. This is the lowest selling one, so this market's pretty much dead in terms of grading. Juan Soto, PSA 10 Chrome update. Again, whenever I got these, the PSA 10, I'm surprised that it's held its value so well, but at the same time, I did not get market value for these wands because at the time, I want to say they're in the 250, 275 range. So I definitely set a low mark for the market. Bulbul Signature Choice, I didn't lose as much on this Bulbul. Prism Silvers, all of them came back 10s. Oh boy, that would have been fun a year ago. Not so much today. Luminance Shining Star, so I showed you the Brady and the Mahomes. This 10 came back, or this Lamar came back at 10, and I did very well on that. Kind of surprised I actually didn't make more on it, but again, this was right whenever Lamar Jackson was hurt, out of sight, out of mind, and the Ravens were kind of tanking. So Lamar, hype was a little bit down this year. We've got more of those Prestige Heroes cards. Again, I got kind of early on those because I thought that they were going to be somewhat limited, but they ended up not being limited. And of course, the values tanked so much so that a PSA 10, I told you I was doing well on Patrick Mahomes. These were bad buys because the market tanked on those, and even a PSA 10 didn't even get my money back. And of course, the 9 lost me a lot more. But there's also good buys in here, again, because I usually think that I'm doing what I'm doing well. Rookies and Stars, Stellar Rookies, PSA 10, $194 for a raw card value. Yes, there was a PSA 10 that sold through a, Memory Lane. For whatever reason, somebody decided to sell one of these through Memory Lane, and it sold for like $480. PSA 9s, the last couple that have hit eBay have been in the $450 range. So I would say true market value for this is around $750. That's where I'm anticipating I would be able to clear. More Donruss Elite Series, again, did very well on those. I always do well on those. Those are solid grades. 2017 Playoff Rookie, did okay on that. That was a low. I set the low mark for that card. I usually set the low mark for a lot of cards. I usually don't set high marks. People say that Probstein sets high marks and people shield bid. Yes, I get relists, but for the most part, I have very good experience setting the low mark for cards. It's because I liquidate them right when I get them. I don't maximize the time because my model is turnover as much as I can. Again, we got more of these Leaf Sage cards. I'm basically flooding the market with all these at the same time, so I made money on all of them, though. Score Rookies, both of those 9s, lost a little bit of money. Luka Doncic My House, so second year My House Hollow, lost money on a 10. Luka Doncic Optic the Rookies, PSA 10s, basically break even. Luka Doncic Optic PSA 10 Rookie, lost money. Again, I paid a lot of money for a card that looked clean. It was centered. I overpaid for that card, and I only got $250. So whenever I bought this, these cards were not, the PSA 10s were still selling relatively high, but that's what happens when you're hanging on to Ultra Modern Basketball for over a year. Even the 10s hurt you, and you all saw that in my 102 card Ultra Modern order that came back recently, where I'm only projecting a very marginal that one I had a profit, but it wasn't as high as what I would have liked, let's say, compared to a year ago. Luka Doncic PSA 10s, Donruss, again, didn't make money on them. Chronicles 553, these are it's the Crusades, I believe. The Crusades PSA 10s, I mean, I made a little bit. There's like one outlier sale there. Lottery ticket from Contenders Optic, lost about 50, 60 bucks on. This was a throw-in, Prism Luck of the Lottery, that I got for $0 because I bought something from somebody else, and I got, did pretty well on that. Got 135 out of it, so that helps. Luka Doncic Rookie Revolution Impact. I thought that this was going to be a $500 or $600 card. It ends up coming at 306. All right, second year Luka Doncic Contender. So one of these is a parallel. This was numbered to 49, I believe. Somebody got a great deal on this card. It was a serial numbered card. It sold for less than the base cards that I sold. How does that happen? This is crazy. So I sold these three as a lot, and they together brought more than the actual parallel. What a stupid market. Oh my gosh. All right, Purple Stars, Kawhi Leonard 9. Kawhi's been hurt, and this is crazy. This is a first off the line parallel numbered to 11, I believe. PSA 9. It should have been a PSA 10. Bad grade. I lost almost $100 on it. I basically lost all that I paid for the card. It's crazy. Should have just gave it away. Court Kings Acetate. Again, Zion stuff. If it's a 9, it is dead. Even the 10s right here. Look at these. So you're going to see the number at the end of this, and I made a lot of money. But this is one of the first reds that hit eBay. Again, this is whenever the Luka Chronicle stuff was blowing up with color, the reds and the blues. Red was a team color for Zion. This is probably the biggest loss in the order right there. Almost $450 on that one card. And then you look at the Gem Mints. Again, these are Crusades. No, these are Phoenix. This is the Phoenix parallel. The 570 is. Lost money on those. All of them. Again, they made way too much Chronicles. These are cards that I will never touch. I've not bought any of 2020, and I will never buy any more Chronicles. None. I'm not even buying serial numbered stuff. It is a junk product. They have way too much stuff in it. Yeah, so all these just poor. Gem Mint Kobe, this is the courtside 291 select. I did well on that. I was expecting 200 to 250 whenever I bought it at 60. The market crashed. I still made money. I've talked about this. If you look at my pre-pandemic videos, whenever people were like, oh, the pandemic's happening, are we going to lose money on cards? I literally told you all Jason Tatum PSA 10s were selling for $250, $300. I will buy them all day at $50 a piece, and if the market crashes to $100 for gems, I'm still coming out ahead. This is exactly what I said over a year and a half ago that happened on basically this order and other orders like it, and that's the power of grading. I ended up being okay. I had that buffer. I did not buy the cards in gem mint condition. I bought the cards and graded them, and thus I'm buffered. So whenever the market crashes, I'm still okay, and whenever we see the final number at the end, you'll see I still came out way ahead even after having these cards sit here for a year. Mike Trout White Sparkles, I actually bought those at a really good price. These are the white sparkle packs that you get for the rewards, and I still lost money. I mean, the 10 didn't even really do all that well. Now we go to the Jaws, and man, oh man, were these disappointing, and I wish that I had these. I think that the card number 230 is, gosh, I can see it in my head, and I can't think of it. You guys can look it up. It's not a chrome card, it's a foil card. Can't think of it. But I got 3 of the reds that came back 10s, and I just basically gave them away. This bronze, which is a SSP, these are all the Phoenix cards. The bronze got $78. It sold for less than the red. The bronze is more rare than the red. It's just like the hobby doesn't know. And it's like if you have to explain what the card is not going to sell. At the time, these were hot. They're not anymore. I bought this under the radar. The seller had it mislisted. This at the time raw was selling for 400-ish raw. So I got a great buy on it, and I gave that card away. Unbelievable. Select 9, obviously going to lose money on those. Look at more of these Court Kings. The Court Kings not doing well. Actually, it was a better sale considering it was a 9. Optic Rookies, the 10 did well. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It thinks I'm moving stuff, and I'm not. Let's look at the Kang. Did Kang do anything for me? Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh, what a terrible sale. I cannot believe that card went that low. I know what these sold for. I typed them all in manually, but just looking at it, it's like I lost over $100 on that card. What a collapse in the market. That's so crazy. All right, Fantasy Stars. Purple. Again, nothing. All right, Juan Soto. Hands on hips. Hands on hips. Y'all know that reference. Hopefully you all do. Hopefully my audience is not too young to know that reference. The 9 for this card actually did well. Again, these are the cards that are doing well because they're short printed. Juan Soto, these are, again, the Chrome updates. Did well on them, surprisingly. These are the cards I didn't think I was going to do all that well on. But they held up well over a year. Again, that highlights just how manipulated basketball is, just how overprinted basketball is. But we're also comparing 2 different years. We're comparing 2018, which is still way overprinted compared to what I'm used to 2019 and 2020. Although basketball in 2018, Luka's year, still 2018, but it's way more overprinted than what Topps did. There's a million 2018 Topps update base Juan Soto's and Acuña's. There's a lesser million of the Chrome updates, but still a million, but nothing compared to ultra modern basketball. And I've said this so many times. What happens to the market whenever you have all of these high pop cards and demand's way up here, but what happens when that demand disappears? What happens when Zion gets hurt? What happens when there's just way too many and people realize it? The bottom falls out. So this is me selling this right here is as the market continues to go down. Like, I really feel bad for the people who are at the tail end of that 5.7 million backlog that has an order like this, because they are screwed. Like, these cards are, and especially if you don't have these players, these are the players who are doing well. I mean, we're talking about Juan Soto, Ja Morant, Luka Doncic right now. I mean, who else is on it? You all have seen Patrick Mahomes. He's the face of the NFL. I mean, he's playing amazing. There's Joe Burrows in here. There's even better Joe Burrows. Most people were not submitting these guys. They're submitting Bo Bichette. They're submitting some Alvarez baseball guy. I don't even know his name. I mean, there's so many no-name guys that people are speculating on that are still buried at PSA. Look at the PSA pop reports of 2018, 2019, and 2020 Prism to see what people are submitting. It just makes you shake your head, like what is being submitted and how worthless the cards are. And to be honest, I kind of hope it burns the people who thought that this was easy and who were watching videos like mine and thinking, oh, this is easy. I'm just going to buy everything that I can and I'm going to submit it to PSA. I hope they get burnt. I really, really do. But I hope they don't leave the hobby, though. I want them to learn their lesson the hard way. Everybody has lumps. I took my lumps. Whenever I started going into this really hard, whenever I started prospecting baseball prospects, I hit game winners in the beginning with Justin Upton in 2006. And whenever I say game winners, I made like $300 to $400 off of a couple of cards, and I thought it was a big shot as a kid. The next year, I was like, I decided to buy everybody. Well, that was wrong, and I did not do poorly, or I did not do well. Now, I didn't lose thousands of dollars. I still came out ahead for the year, but I took some losses. And I learned from those losses, and it's very important that people do not overextend themselves, that they learn their lessons from this year, and they don't make the same mistakes. They don't focus on cards that are going to be high pop. They don't focus on speculative NBA basketball players. In the NBA has been all about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and that's it. Now we're starting to get, over the past couple of years, we've started to get with this social media influence and like people kind of forgetting about MJ and Kobe. Now they're starting to focus on Curry that he's won rings. They're focusing on Giannis because he's won rings. And they're starting to focus a little bit on Luka, but Luka is still vulnerable. He hasn't won a ring and he hasn't won an MVP. He's in the clock is ticking mode. So, I mean, if you're not in the right players in basketball, you lose. It's just what it is, unless you're short-term flipping, which is what I'm doing with just about everybody. I'm only focusing on guys who are winning. Like Patrick Mahomes to me is a winner. He could retire tomorrow and he will have collectors. Now his cards will fall. They're not going to take an Andrew Luck fall though, because he has actually been an MVP and he's actually been to 2 Super Bowls. He's been to 4 AFC championship games and he's won a Super Bowl. He is a legend. He's already a legend. So you have to put money in the right spot. All right, soapbox is over. I'm going to clip that and it's going to be a different video so that people can actually see what the problems are in our hobby and really learn from their mistakes over the past couple of years. All right, Topps update, Juan Soto. Again, did well on these. The rainbow foils did well because these are rare cards. This is not the base card, which I had one of these. And surprisingly, it still sold for $134. I wouldn't pay $30 for it, to be honest. These are the cards right here that I like. Juan Soto autograph. Yes, it's from Razor. For those of you that don't know that reference, Brian Gray, the Leaf is Razor. He started Razor first, and then he bought Leaf, and now it's Leaf Razor to me. Yes, it's a junk company. It's not really real, but it does have Juan Soto's real autograph on it, and for that I have value on it, and somebody else did too. I bought these cards for dirt cheap. I got them graded, and they came back 10s, and I did very well on those cards. Chronicle, some pajamas. So the pajamas have come way down. Luckily, I got 2 10s and they did well. Told you all that Juan Soto that this is going to be a $300 to $400 card. Again, market came down by the time I sold, so only got 267, which basically means I sold the card for over 300, but after fees, I didn't get what I wanted out of it. Bowman's Best rookie refractor, so did very well on those. These refractors have picked up. People want the refractors and atomic refractors. They don't want the base. Mosaic Bowl. Again, I didn't lose all that much on that one. I just basically lost grading fees, so I'll take that as a win. Sepia, Fernando Tatis. Did very well on. I was expecting $500 to $600. I was not expecting a low price. Complete set, Fernando. I did pretty well. It's about in line with what I thought. All right, looking at the Phoenixes. This is horrible. Absolutely horrible. The comps on this card were way higher. You can see I sold the hollows as a lot lower than what I sold the regular card. And a lot of this I will put on the consigner. Probstein really didn't do me any favors. There are a lot of cards here that were listed incorrectly and also at the wrong times. And I don't beat him up over that because ultimately the consigner's doing me a favor and I get a lot of priority access. He lists my cards fast. He pays me fast. This is a mutually beneficial relationship. But with that comes some sacrifices in optimizing the sales. And this is a perfect example. I forget exactly which cards it was within this listing, but there are several that were not optimized. Let's just put it that way. Contenders season ticket base did well. The Ruby Wave did well. Megabox did well. Bowman's Best orange refractor, so did well on that. Again, it's an orange refractor. Fernando Tatis Jr. rookie, who came back a 9, which I knew was going to come back a 9, but I still doubled my money on it. It's just a good buy. Fernando Tatis, these are the ones I remember now. These I got destroyed on. These cards were listed so poorly, and at the time these were going for $275 a piece. They listed them together as a lot, which I asked them to do, but they just listed them so poorly, and they came to $164 a piece. I basically gave up $100 per card. After fees, maybe it was about $80 per card. So that one really stung. Chrome updates. Did well on those. Again, if I'd have got them a couple months earlier, we're talking about $80, $90, $100 a pop instead of $62. The 9s were basically a wash. I lost grading fees. Again, 10s, you all can see all those. Trying to go through these a little bit quickly. Bowman Chromes, again, blue refractor. Basically, I didn't do well on. I would have thought that I would have made money on that, actually, but I didn't. The refractor I did make money on. That just shows I bought these cards at the same time. I got PSA 9s back a year later. The PSA 9 blue didn't make money. The PSA 9 refractor made basically a 60-70% return on my money. All right, Bowman Chromes 9-10. 9 was a wash, lost a little bit of money. PSA 10 made some money. Chronicles Ruby Wave, it's Crusade, I believe, made pretty well. Looking at the finest refractor. Obviously, going to do well in the refractors. These finest, probably a little bit lower than what I thought. I would have expected to do a little bit better. Chrome purple refractor. I think this one was another one that was not listed appropriately, I don't think. Only got 253. I would have thought that I would have got a lot more than that. Miners, those did well, made a little bit of money, not making a ton, but again, this adds up whenever you're looking at a 366 card order. Bowman Sterling PSA 10s. These I also should have done way better on. These cards were going in the 100 to 120 range individually. I basically got half that value together as a lot. So typically whenever I list cards like this, I will not list them individually. I list them together as a lot. I do not want to cannibalize my own auctions. Now, one thing that I will say is because I had a lot of Tatis lots at the same time, I think because I listed so much volume of one player at the same time, I cannibalized myself. So I do not like when people list individually every single card. It's just, one, you're killing yourself. Plus, your consignment fees are higher because each individual card sells at a lower price, meaning the consignor is taking more of a cut. If you list them together, that's just one sale, one listing. It makes it easier for the consignor, but because you get a higher sale value, you're paying a lower consignment fee. So if these things trigger over $1,000 for a lot, lower consignment fees. If it goes over $2,500, or $2,500, $5,000, lower consignment fees. So big reason why I like to list things together. It's easier for the consignor. I get more money. Win-win. All right, let's go back to where we were. All right, so we talked about these Tatums. We're almost there. Bam Adebayo, premium box. Surprised I made money on that. He has no value now, basically. He's got a little bit of value, but not a lot. Essentials. That's what I was thinking about earlier for those John Morants. It was the Essentials red, and I still lost money on those. The Jason Tatum's lost money. These optics, it's crazy. I was selling these during the peak pandemic for over $250, over $200 a pop, $300 a pop. And I got multiple orders where they moved in the 150, 170 range. It's kind of where I thought these were going to be, but again, the market has just collapsed on these cards. So they're basically at a wash. Lost basically $5 per grading fee on the tins. Didn't do well on those. Optic, the rookies, again, not doing well. This red parallel came back in 8, which I lost a ton of money on. Again, ultra modern basketball did not treat me well. We're getting close to the bottom here. So Prestige did well on, everything else lost money. Select 9s lost money, but I got 110 and I made money. Maybe break even, probably lost by the time you factor in fees. Michael Porter Jr. got hurt, back issues again, so lost money. More Trae Young. Again, the 10 still lost money by the time you factor in fees. Trae Young. This blue velocity 10 right here, I did make money on it, offset the losses for the others. The Rapture 9, I made money on a little bit, not a lot. Chronicles blue, so this one I lost a little bit of money on. This was a gamble. I think this is the Obsidian parallel. Panini Revolution PSA 10, so these thought I was going to do a little bit better than these. It's crazy how poorly these sold. We're looking at $56 a pop for the 10s and only $36 for the 9s. Hugely undervalued. I set the low market for those cards. Joe Burrow, Elite Aspirations die cut, the 2000 throwback variation. The 10 didn't make me any money. I lost $1, $2 by the time you factor in grading fees. More Lou Bob loss. More Lou Bob Sterling loss. Chronicles bronze Steph Curry. Again, this is the bronze parallel. It's rare. I think this is Flux from Chronicles. Made some money on that. Deshaun Watson actually made me money. He's being investigated for rape. In football, this is just mind-blowing. Deshaun Watson is being investigated for rape.
It never ends, this shit.
Now we can debate whether or not that's happening or not. But the 10s for Deshaun Watson made me more money than Luka Doncic 10s playing, Trae Young, Zion, Ja Morant. It just goes to show, and for all the people who said that football was not a place to put your money.
And I think basketball are the superheroes. I mean, LeBron and Steph and Giannis, and they're just so much more famous to people than Trout and Bryce Harper and Acuna, and even more famous than Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray and, not Tom Brady, but you know what I mean? It's just the NBA. Everyone knows who they are. Football players wear helmets, right? Baseball doesn't have exposure like that, and it's just so obvious that it's an NBA soccer world.
Talk to somebody who's been in the game for a little bit before you start trusting that feedback. So, Eloy Jimenez, he got hurt. Obviously, that's not going to help. Jason Dominguez. Now, these are losers. Jason didn't live up to the hype, and that came back as a 9. Erling Brought Holland. Now, this is where the influencers who pump stuff help me, because the influencers definitely pumped this guy up, and I got a gem out of it, and it made me some money. Wander Franco Megabox. Obviously, Wander's the guy this year. Made money on that. And then Eloy Jimenez. Again, he got hurt, but pretty much lost my grading fee. So I gave $5,622 to PSA to grade this order. Took a year. It is what it is. It's about $15 per card plus the additional fees for insurance, etc. So, cost of goods sold. I spent $16,000 on the cards, paid $5,600 to PSA. In terms of sales, to date, I've got $33,253 after fees. This is money in my pocket, deposited in my bank account from Ricky Probstein. The receivables section, I only have 3 cards left. Is that it? I've got the Stellar Rookies, and I've also got the Luminance Parallels. So these are good cards. These are some of the good ones out of the set that I like. It's my Patty Cakes and my Brady. So far, I'm projecting that we'll have about $1,850 there, give or take a couple $100. I'm usually conservative with these numbers, but in this case, I might be a little aggressive. We'll see. But so far, we're looking at about $35,000, $103 after fees, everything. Liability, $21,692. How do I get the liability? I basically am adding these two columns here together, which is my grading expense and my cost of goods sold. This is essentially the expense for the order. Profit without fees, that's wrong. Every single one of my charts has this, but it's with fees, because I just told you that the fees is considered. So profit after everything, $13,410.75. That is an ROI of 61.82. And just so that we can show you what our gem rates look like, for some reason these are showing us dollar signs. At some point, I must have gone through and adjusted these columns. But looking at our gem rate, this is the profitability of a PSA order that had you sold it around the holidays, around Christmas, New Year, with a 72% gem rate of these types of cards. You're looking at a 61.82% ROI, which is what I achieved. So, is it still profitable? Can you still turn profitable orders? Yes. It's going to be tough. It's going to absolutely be tough. Now, let's see what happens when we change this to $25 per card. And I'm going to change it to $25.50 to account for the insurance. So equals $25.50 times 366 graded. So we're going to say that we're paying $9,333 to get this order graded. How does that change the profitability? So today, if PSA were to reopen and they have the capacity to grade these cards, and let's say that these cards, I still achieve these same types of results, we're looking at a profitability of $9,700 for the order. That knocks our ROI down to 38.18%. So we're literally losing, we're losing 23% of our ROI. That's a huge chunk. I mean, it's a very big chunk of our ROI that is really disappearing. Still profitable? Is it worth it for $9,000 some odd dollars? Yeah, maybe. Especially for some people out there that want to grind. Is it worth waiting a year for that? I don't know. I may be in a different ball game in terms of wanting to wait a year for that type of return. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the grading moving forward, and whether or not people are going to be savvy enough to grade cards like they did in 2020, 2021, or are they going to change their strategy. But this order almost closes the book on 2020, because again, I bought all these cards in November of 2020, sent them off to PSA. We waited a year, we got them back in November of 2021, we sold them, and now this is my profitability. All right, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me this long. I know it's long, but I know a lot of you have wanted to see this and hear me talk about it. So thanks for checking out the video. Let me know what you think down below. Did I do well in this order? Did I do poorly? What do the SGC fans think? Send this to every SGC person that you can think of who has definitely sent me nasty comments because I'm an SGC, not an SGC fanboy. So yeah, send that to them. Let me know what they think, because I'm certainly wanting them to enter in the chat box down below. They don't like to jump in my PSA orders. They will only jump in the SGC orders, and they're like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, all right, fine. It's fine with me. Don't watch my videos. All right, we'll see you next time, guys.